Which country comes to mind when you hear Mercedes-Benz, ThyssenKrupp, Volkswagen, Porsche, and Bosch? Yes, it's Germany. Germany isn't just famous for its marvels of manufacturing and engineering feats. It has the largest national economy in Europe, the fourth largest by nominal GDP in the world, and fifth by GDP, PPP. Germany exported $1.33 trillion worth of goods in 2020. Many Germans also have lots of private wealth. Germany has the most millionaires USD in Europe and the fourth most in the world. So why is Germany so rich? Let's dive right into it. We'll start with a little history. A relatively young country by European standards, Germany was only unified in 1871. German-speaking Central Europe included more than 300 political entities, most of which were part of the Holy Roman Empire. While Germany was a little late to the party, while other countries like France and the United Kingdom led the way with modern manufacturing methods during the Industrial Revolution, Germany eventually caught up, and this was the beginning of the manufacturing powerhouse that we know today. Perhaps another reason why Germany was the perfect mass manufacturing state since the turn of the century was its large population of skilled workers. In 1899, Germany was the first to introduce social insurance programs including universal health care, compulsory education, sickness insurance, accident insurance, disability insurance, and a retirement pension. Moreover, the government's universal education policy bore fruit with Germany achieving the highest literacy rate in the world, 99%, education levels that provided the nation with more people good at handling numbers, more engineers, opticians, skilled workers for its factories, skilled managers, and knowledgeable farmers. This put in place the perfect foundation for a productive, well-oiled machine of a manufacturing economy. While Germany is very wealthy today, it has its ups and downs. Post-World War I, the reparations Germany had to pay crippled the economy, with massive inflation and depression following. The Deutschmark, Germany's currency at the time, lost so much value. German families were burning notes rather than wood as fuel. This was cited as being one of the reasons that created the second conflict of the century, World War II. Post-World War II, things were a little different, at least for West Germany. With the Marshall Plan, the United States transferred $13 billion, equivalent of about $115 billion in 2022, in economic recovery programs to Western European economies after the end of World War II, with Germany being one of the top recipients. This helped rebuild the war-torn country and kick-started the manufacturing sector. East Germany wasn't so lucky, however, with the Soviet-controlled area being forced to pay massive war reparations, similar to the case of post-World War I. This left East Germany quite poor until this day. Eastern Germany still has some of the poorer areas in the country. In the 1950s, West Germany saw the beginning of the country's economic miracle, averaging 8% growth per year to become the largest economy in Europe. Also, price controls were removed, and combining free market attitudes with new social security protections. By 1958, industrial output was 4 times higher compared with the previous decade. In 1991, with the reunification of Germany, East Germany's productivity was approximately half that of West Germany. Notably, with a centralized economy and the inability to innovate, dismantling of industries, and along with much of the wealth heading east during the post-war years. One main issue following reunification of East and West Germany was abolishing the East German currency and making the Deutschmark the standard. Wealthy West Germany sent massive amounts of funds to help subsidize East Germany companies, around $2 trillion over the years. This caused debt to rise in the 1990s, from 40% to 67%, and unemployment peaked at 11%, which gave Germany the nickname, the poor man of Europe. This trend continued till around 2005. Things are very different today, however. Germany is a manufacturing and exporting powerhouse. While not exporting the most in the world, the net difference between exporting and importing gives Germany the largest surplus in the world, at $223 billion in 2019. The main reason for this transformation was the labor reforms in the 1990s. Previously, wages for the entire sector were based on collective bargaining. This made the manufacturing industry less competitive, even with superior products being manufactured. After the reforms, companies were given more freedom to manage wages, moving away from collective wage increases. Another very important factor in Germany's success is that 2/3 of all exports come from privately owned small to medium-sized enterprises, which are known as the Mittelstand. Generally, they focus on innovative and high-value manufactured products and occupy worldwide niche markets, and fall into this category if they have annual revenues up to 50 million euro, a maximum of 500 employees, and are mostly family-owned. 70% of Mittelstand business are in small communities, and as a result of being mostly family-owned businesses, they focus on different values than large corporations. For example, it is normal for the company's management to cater to employees' benefits and working conditions. This leads to more trust in the company and, as a result, less turnover and higher production. Mittelstand business, as a result of being mostly family-owned and smaller than enormous corporations, they can cater more to customer value and rely more on in-house technical innovations rather than acquired outside technology. In addition, rather than working with debt like many larger companies, these small to medium-sized companies prefer to work with slightly slower growth and cash investments. This makes things much more stable. This is also one of the reasons why these companies fared so well during the 2008 worldwide financial crisis, when banks stopped lending money worldwide. There is also a cultural aspect in Germany, where debt is seen as a negative personal characteristic, similar to that of guilt or shame. This is completely different to how companies operate in many other Western economies, relying on loans to do business. Also, compared to larger enterprises, these small to medium-sized businesses invest more in research and development, issuing around 5 times more patents per worker. Instead of outsourcing, such as components, they're generally made in-house. The Mittelstand companies satisfy a niche in the worldwide market. For example, offering specialized, well-made parts or components which would not make sense for large companies to produce, as tooling would not make a profit and too complex for small businesses to produce. As I mentioned before, education has traditionally been very important and accessible to Germany since around 1900. This is still the case today. One of the main advantages Germany has over similarly sized industrial economies in other countries is well-educated workers. But this doesn't mean there is a higher rate of university graduates, but rather encouraging apprenticeships for a large portion of the population from a young age and getting hands-on experience in a certain field. This is a very important part of why Germany's employees are more dependable and productive. Many other first-world countries, for example, glamorize university and college degrees that maybe aren't related to the field the student plans to enter. It is also common to look down on blue-collar related workers, whereas in Germany, there is no social stigma in this case. While manufacturing and industry are a major part of the German economy, there are other important areas as well. In 2017, services constituted 68.6% of gross domestic product, GDP, and the sector employed 74.3% of the workforce. The subcomponents of services are financial, renting, and business activities, 30.5%, trade, hotels and restaurants, and transport, 18%, and other service activities, 21.7%. The tourism industry is also growing rapidly, with Germany being the 7th most visited country with a total of 407 million overnights during 2012. This number includes 68.83 million nights by foreign visitors. In 2012, over 30.4 million international tourists arrived in Germany. Berlin has become the 3rd most visited city destination in Europe. In addition, more than 30% of Germans spend their holiday in their own country. Despite economic prosperity, Germany's biggest threat to future economic development is the nation's declining birth rate, which is among the lowest in the world. This is mainly the case in parts of society with higher education. As a result, the numbers of workers are expected to decrease, and the government spending needed to support pensioners and healthcare will increase if the trend is not reversed. Also, Germany relies heavily on exports, and if there is a worldwide recession, this could affect Germany's economic growth model. Also, while Germany is self-sufficient in many ways, it is still the world's fifth largest consumer of energy, in which 2/3 on average are imported. Many industries have relied heavily on inexpensive Russian gas. The current crisis between Russia and Ukraine could involve Russia cutting off or heavily increasing the price of gas sold to Germany as retaliation for sanctions. Germany has shown time and time again that its economy is able to fare some of the worst economic challenges, mainly due to the Mittelstand, excellent social policies, and low debt. The aging population and the over-reliance on importing energy could be a major blow to Germany's future economy. So, what do you think? Will Germany become more self-sufficient with alternate energy solutions, or will the aging workers be replaced? Also, if you enjoyed the video, please make sure to like it and consider subscribing and hit the notification bell for more videos just like this. See you in the next one.